aircraft.
Excellent.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, terrific. See, we find out, I give you a very simple example. As you know, I like giving simple examples. That's Sunnah of Allah. Simple. Say in a village, they're having problem because the bad guys bomb their telephone tower, right? So they cannot communicate with each other anymore. So truly halal, scientific and halal solution would be find birds, right? Like Prophet Sulaiman's time. But that's long-term solution. Short-term, how to do? You see, remember I said you have to have a short-term and long-term. Short-term, what do? Long-term would be a bird. I'm not saying that's the only solution, but that's one of the solutions that you think about. But short-term, you're bleeding, right? What is the short-term solution for that? You, all of a sudden, your mujahideen got disconnected from each other because bad guys bombed the telephone tower. So that's why we have to have, so what is the overall objective? Mujahideen should be able to communicate with each other without interruption, without being spied on. That's the broad objective. Short-term objective, right now, what do? Long-term objective, truly scientifically halal technology. I don't have to buy radio, which is very toxic. I don't have to rely on satellite, which is beyond my control. That's a long term. Until then, what do? So yours is the same. You find out there are many software packages that claim that we do the modeling. But we know in our heart they have been lying about everything. So how do you proceed? And that's the process that I said you have to do literature review first thing. Remember?
Yeah, it is there.
You find out what other people have done. That's why I say without knowing English, you cannot do any research. Not only so-called scientific, but even so-called akhira research, which is not. In Islam, there is no difference between the two. It has to be the same. Because shaitan is plotting. What is the language of shaitan today? English. So if you say, brother, I don't want to learn English because I don't care what these guys are saying. You don't care, but they do. They will bomb you. You need to know their plan. That's why it's very important to learn both Arabic, of course Arabic because it's the language of Quran, and English because it's the language of shaitan that is controlling us today. Anyway, we have the Qari Sahib? No? Can you recite this one?
فلا وربك لا يؤمنون حتى يحكموك فيما شجر بينهم ثم لا يجدوا في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت ويسلموا تسليما.
Allah is saying that you will not be movement. Here it says true believer, but true believer is added term. But in Arabic, you will not be movement. That's very harsh. Unless you take Prophet Muhammad as the judge. So if you have a problem and you are going to doctor, right, who are you taking as a judge? Who is doing your hakim? We do not see that. We say the only time we go to Prophet is when it's matter of akhirah. Everything is matter of akhirah because every deed you do will take you to hell or heaven. Even akhirah boys should be going to our local imam as to how to pray. Should we be going there? No, there's hadith right there. Do not rely on anybody other than Prophet. If there is a judgment, you do that. That's the model we talk about repeatedly, the knowledge model. Quran, Hadith, time spelling. Then you decide. So you don't go to anybody else. It's your obligation. You cannot say, I had to do research. Prophet said, you must seek knowledge, but I went to an imam and he said, going to doctor or taking vaccine is okay. That imam would not testify. He would not say, yeah, I take responsibility for him. It's your obligation. That's why this verse is extremely important. That's why I gave that today. Hikmah, which is this process, Quran, Hadith, conclusion comes with hikmah. But even before that, our obligation to seek knowledge starts with Quran. First you go there. So I give an example. It's you see on the internet so many times they said, MashaAllah, miracle of Quran, right? Miracle of Quran. One of them said, Surah 9, which is Tawbah, verse 11 is talking about a bird. And subhanallah, 9:11, the bird, which is a plane, struck. So Allah predicted. True or false? It's no meaning. First of all, 9 is in Shaitan's calendar, September. It has nothing to do with real Islamic calendar. 11 is Shaitanic calendar, has nothing to do with this. And you just try to find try to find similarity and say, this is what it is. Same with Big Bang. So subhanallah, Allah talks about Big Bang and these Western white people are finding the same. They do not understand Big Bang, they certainly do not understand Quran, and they certainly have no iman. That's why that verse is important. You go to Quran first. You do not go to Mr. Smith. So this example is the melting point of silver is 961.8 Celsius. If somebody tells you that, what are you saying? Is it a phenomenal? Is it a true statement? Can scientifically show it's a fraud. It has no meaning. Not to mention, degree Celsius is not scientific. According to them, and of course according to Quran, that's Shaitan. It's not Quranic science. Yet, that one is taken for fact. Then they say, there are 961 verses between mention of Tawbah, silver in Tawbah, and silver in Insan. Therefore, subhanallah brother, they are talking about 961. It's not enough. So wait, that's a miracle. But there are 8 words in all of the verses. 0.8. Complete maths and everybody is positive. Everybody is loving it. It's subhanallah, alhamdulillah brother. You pointed it out. Completely gone. Logic starts with the first one. All Americans speak French, right? False. Macron is an American. False. Here, 961.8 is false. You know it has no basis. Even in science, it has no basis. In their science, it's Kelvin. What is it in Kelvin? It's not certainly not 961.8. And then you go further, you find out it's under certain condition that is never true. It's never exact. They will say this is exact for pure silver, 100%. Is there such a thing as pure silver? Can you ever find pure silver? Just like Big Bang. Big Bang said, after Big Bang, everything became hydrogen. Hydrogen atom. Is there any such thing as hydrogen atom? How absurd. People do not think of the history. Where is our history guy? We have a lot of people missing. Any reason?
I think it's so last week they get salary, so maybe somebody's been to the home.
Oh, poor guys.
Yeah, that's the main reason.
That's okay, but we tell them that I miss them because we need input, we need participation.
Yes.
One of the guys had a very good question about
Saif, he is talking about Saif.
Yeah,
who is Saif?
Yeah,
He got leave.
Yes.
he was sick today.
He's sick, poor guy. That's okay. So tell him that I missed him because I wanted to talk about his question. Beautiful thing. Most important thing in this class, you have to ask question. Any question you have, write it down. Don't miss it. And if you do not have time, bring it up next time. I will always give you priority. There is no such thing as, oh, I don't have time for question. Or there is certain type of question I would like, others I don't. That's not sunnah of the Prophet. Prophet never said, don't ask this question. Did he ever?
No.
Anything. Now talk to anybody, they will say, oh, don't talk about this. Don't talk about this. Why are you asking this? I was told yesterday that you should not be talking about Qadr. I said, who said that? Imagine, Qadr is the most important part. First thing, that's the controlling function. We're not supposed to talk about it. So where did you find that idea? So always go to the root. This is very relevant discussion. Go to the first one. Who told you? Suddenly did not, Allah didn't say it, Prophet didn't say it, so who said? Then you talk about justification, but you stop right there. This is most important. Right, first premise, first statement, stop. That's it. Brother, I'm not going to indulge into falsehood. I don't want to discuss malfunction, why you're bringing it up. That's false and that's it. If you cannot bring evidence, do not bring it up. Why? 1736. Remember? Allah said, do not proceed unless you have full knowledge. That's research. Do not proceed. First task in research is find out. This is very important. Nobody teaches this, by the way. First thing you do is underlying premises. Find out how are you assuming. First thing you read, any paper, any document, say, what did he assume? You don't have to assume his intention. His intention may be good or bad. You don't care at this point. But on his face, he said, what are you assuming? We gave the example of 961.8 or whatever. But other example, I talked about someone tells you, don't talk about Qadr, it will mislead you. Bang, you catch him. So who told you, brother? Allah did? Prophet did? As a matter of fact, you can find counter examples. What is the obligation of Sahaba? If you hear anything from Prophet, you must disseminate. Isn't it true? If you heard Prophet say something, you must convey that. And you are telling me to keep my mouth shut? You won't even let me think. Let me find out. No. And this has been a problem. Another example, There's a consensus that this or that is halal. I want to be cautious. I'm not saying what it is, but you hear very frequently there is a, what is it called? Ijma. There's ijma. This is halal. Which halal becomes halal because there is ijma? Who makes it halal? Allah does and Prophet does.
Yeah, on the basis on Hadith and Quran, they conclude something.
That's the point. They should not be saying on ijma. You see the point? I'm talking about on his face. It's not halal because there is ijma. Ijma has no meaning. Ijma is democracy. Majority votes for democracy. And we know that's taboo. You see the point? I'm not objecting it's halal or haram. I'm not saying if Macron speaks French or not. But this is statement. You are putting value on ijma. So what? Everybody disagreed. Does it become halal or haram? It doesn't mean anything. And that's history. Nobody wants to think past whatever it is. They don't question. Do you remember what the first thing he said? You find out underlying principle. What are you asking me, brother? Majority means something? In Islam it doesn't. Allah is one. What Allah decides, millions of ilah can decide something else, it doesn't mean anything. What Prophet said, everybody objected. So what? At no time good guys were majority. I challenge you to find out. At no time good guys were majority. In modern time, or from Adam's time, Adam and Eve both are good guys. But after that, was it good guys majority in this Prophet this time, or Prophet Nuh's time, all the way to Isa, all the way to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? At no time. Even in Abu Bakr's time, how many people Abu Bakr fought? And they are new Muslims. They're Muslims. They did not object to Aqidah or anything. They said, we just don't want to give zakat.
Zakat, yes.
To you, we'll do personally. Was that enough? You know how many people fought Abu Bakr? 100,000. 100,000, the biggest army they can. And they were all funded by who? Persian Empire. And that's why Persian Emperor was so angry that they sent assassin for Umar. That's history. So you have to think, that's why Aql, without Aql, there is no humanity. Everybody has Aql, unless we are crazy, and we must use it. Particularly in research. You have to ask, why are you saying this? What are you assuming? Another one, it's a very interesting one. I heard somebody say something. Okay? Say, what's your name again? Zahid?
Zaire Muhammad.
Zahir Muhammad, yes. I said, brother, don't trust, what's your name? Don't trust brother Salahuddin. Okay? I'm giving you a nasiha. Okay? Do you know the meaning of nasiha?
Yeah.
What is it? But root word, do you know root meaning? Sincerity. Sincerity. I'm sincerely telling you, do not trust brother Salahuddin. Or maybe trust 80%, not 100%. How would you react? Am I being truthful if I say that's my nasiha? Am I sincere in what I'm saying? Think about it.
Actually, such a question was raised yesterday also. And the point is that if I have been long enough with you, so I know you, and I may have, realized your intention when it comes to my benefits and harm. So if I trust you, then somehow I can consider that
But
something may be happening with that.
say I'm Amirul Mu'minin, right? Or for instance, Omar's case, it actually happened. People make mistakes. Your Amirul Mu'minin is telling you, do not trust Salahuddin, and Salahuddin is not here. What will you tell him? Would you say, I believe you? Or you will say, brother, he's not here.
We will say that he is not here.
You see the point? He's not here.
Yeah.
And it's my duty to stop you. It doesn't matter if he said it or not. It doesn't matter if he's a criminal or not. He's not here. Why do you say that? Because you put Quran and Hadith first. If you put Amirul Mu'minin first, then you would be thinking twice, I don't want to go to jail, man. That's not Islam. Islam is being upfront, and that's why, can you imagine? Amirul Mu'minin Omar is giving a speech, State of the Union, and that's the largest empire of the time, giving a State of the speech. Isn't that what it is, the khutbah? And a woman stands up and says, you're wrong. It's haram to stop the khutbah, isn't it? But why did they do that? Because they put Quran and Hadith first. They did not fear Omar. And sure enough, Omar also was the same. He did not put his ego. He said, you are right. That's what the example is. So this simple example, you say, why are you saying this? He's not here. On the other hand, if he is convicted, right, then you give reference. The brother, do not step on the same snake hole twice. Hadith again. He's a convicted guy. Of course, he should not be trusted, and that's by law. Again, why? Because Hadith says so. Not because he is convicted in a Taghut criminal court.
So if you sir, know both of us, me and Salahuddin Sayyid, and you understand that I have intention to kill him.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I have the intention to kill him.
Yes.
And you know both of us.
I will stop you right there.
So how you can stop me? You cannot.
Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. I'll slap you.
Yeah, you will try with that.
That's right.
You will try with
You see,
that.
it stops right there.
Yeah. So if I'm not a moral person, you wouldn't be able to convince me. Okay.
No.
I will insist to carry,
Yeah.
the operation and
No.
murder him.
That's right. You see what? This is the position. I will stop you with what? Hand. Right? First, physically.
But doctor, let's say he's not available here right now.
Yeah.
But how did I come to know?
Somehow, let's say you come to know that he has the intention of killing you.
How?
Will you
Sometime, not right now,
Will you not
sometime.
warn
How
me?
do I know his intention? You see how it is becoming confusing? How do I know?
You can see me following his path and way.
I cannot assume that's your intention. You see, that's haram because 49, 12, 9, 12. Surah Hujurat, 9 to 12. I cannot, just because you're following does not mean your intention is to kill him.
Yeah, but in real life nowadays it happens. One can,
Real life is fake life, right? It happens. For instance, with that logic, we can install cameras and everybody is being spied on. But that's not our standard. Our standard is what Prophet did, what Allah ordered. So you find out, it's about finding out about violating somewhere along the line Allah's order. Then you stop. Stop right there where the violation is taking place. And that's why using akal is an obligation. If you do not use akal, you are the lowest. Particularly in research, and these are relevant topics. And we'll see example today how to apply that in our research.
But the good point I got it here is that instead of going to that person,
Yeah.
it's good to convince this one.
Yes, and take him
Yeah.
to the Amirul Mu'minin, take him to the leaders. He said this, take him to the judge.
Yeah, it was a good point I got.
Right?
Yeah. And
That way it becomes real nasiya. Real nasiya is sincere. Your intention is not to create fitna, your intention to actually save him. If you want to save him, right? If you want to save him, you do according to Sharia. Guiding question. You know, we talk about 3 types of questions.
yeah,
Real question, meaning I don't know. Like when I asked what I knew, when I asked Muhammad that
Zahir.
Zahir Muhammad that what's your name? Because I forgot. That's real question, right? But guiding question is when I know the answer, possible answer, but I am asking you, so answer comes from you, that we will be guided. Allah asks guiding question all the time. Allah cannot ask. It's impossible for Allah to ask question that is real. Because He knows everything. But He asks guiding questions. Prophet, often he asks real question, but more often he asks guiding questions. Real question is, what happened to you? How come you're sad? Does anybody have a question for him? Those are real questions. We wanted to know, because he doesn't know. So real question is aql easy? Doesn't matter what you have been told. Is aql easy to use? Think logically. If aql was difficult to use, if aql was something you had to learn from university, right? Take logic course and fuzzy logic course and all this, then would you be responsible for not using aql? No, it's too much operation. Allah, I do not have money to go to university. Where can I learn? I do not have a alim to teach me. I'm in the forest of Amazon, or in Sudan, or desert of Sahara. I can't learn aql. No, aql is the easiest thing. If you have iman, you have aql, because Allah created you with that. It's inherent. As soon as you become have puberty, you have aql.
so without iman, one can't have aql.
Without puberty,
Without iman.
oh, no, who cannot? Aql is rooted, this is coming up, aql is rooted in iman. But we are born with iman. Not the express dogmatic iman, but we are born with iman.
Yeah, so after
Everybody has aql. That's why I say everybody has aql.
so after adulthood, we can say in the age of adulthood,
Yes.
I accept that all are born with iman, which is
Yes.
fitri iman.
Mm-hmm.
But when they become adult in other societies, like in Jewish society, in Hindu society, then we can't say they have iman. So
No, they don't. But they have iman, but they kufr. They hide it.
yeah, so can we consider all of them without aql?
As what? You see, something happens, and it's a very important question. Something happens at puberty. Remember, we said we have control of only one thing. Remember that discussion?
That's the intention. Yeah.
Intention. Children cannot make intention. They do not have the ability to make intention. Only time they can make intention, mental maturity, if they have mental maturity, and that's what is linked to puberty. That's why if a child kills somebody, there is no punishment for it. Isn't it true? Even in the West, there is no punishment. Why? Because they are not They don't have the ownership of their intention. They're like animals in a good way. Of course, all animals are what? Muslim, because they're following Allah's order, rule. They're part of Qadr, basically. So, that intention, once you have it, anybody knows. Hindu, Buddhist, whatever. They know it's wrong to steal. They know it's wrong to fornicate. They have in their heart. I have talked to many sinners. You might have talked to many. You can remember your own. Even as 4-year-old, when I had no intention, I had no ownership of intention, I knew it was wrong. Nobody told me. I knew what was wrong. Because you have it. So they deny that. And that's why denial, covering up, is kufr.
So can we consider them as without us?
Yeah, they have no,
Denying the truth.
That's right. They are not using akal. They have it, they are not using it.
They were using akal, they would have reached Tawheed.
That's right, exactly. Logically, you get there. And it's really a phenomenon in the West, because after 9/11, after the New York terror attack, in the first few months, 34,000 new Muslims, they became Muslim. Even when they are saying that, oh, all propaganda, this Muslim did this, did that, but 34,000 new Muslim. And 80% of them are women. And they always promote women are the most oppressed by Islam. It's the exact opposite. Look at I forgot her name. The Taliban had captured this journalist. She became Muslim after being released. Look at the prisoners, hostages that were released by Hamas. They are so different that West is scared to interview them. They don't want to interview. They want to brainwash them first before interviewing. That's why everybody has it. If they actually follow up, they become Muslim. So that's why new Muslims is a great fun. Everybody, in my research group, my best associate, Jewish. He became Muslim before dying. My best student, PhD student, Hindu. He also became Muslim. And they're the best from the Western perspective. So much so, the Jewish guy has 4 books. He started like you. He was the associate, he was like Salahuddin, walking around with me and giving lecture, taking my classes. But he became a scholar, 4 books on his own, plus a number of books with me. So Aql will get there. Only Aql is enough, because we have everything else within us. You just have to use it. That's why it's not forgiven. If you do not use Aql, that's why Allah calls it the lowliest of animal. Really. Hikmah, on the other hand, is something else. Anybody knows what hikmah is? This is something 151 said, Prophet will teach you. Right? Hikmah is taught by good guys, not in school. Hikmah is the ability to hukam. Hikmah is the ability to go there, decide. Do you know how Hakim, what is Hakim? Judge, right? How they will be raised up. There's hadith, they will be raised up like this. It's a very big responsibility. Even if you have control over 10 people, you'll be raised up like this. And you have to prove that you have been adil, you have been just with them. Then you'll be released. Heavy, very heavy. So the ability to hukum, the ability to do hikmah is something you have to learn. From whom? From the Prophet. Because that's what Prophet taught. You can also learn from his inheritors, the true alim. So what we are doing in this class, we'll learn about hikmah, because hikmah is very important for research. Aql is the tool, but this tool alone, with hikmah, we see a lot of examples. With hikmah, this is the conclusion again. Hikmah is the process.
About the hikmah, it said that it's missed of Muslims or Muslims, and it is somehow a controversial concept, hikmah.
What is the concept of hikmah?
Yeah, like the soul. I mean, there is not specific information what is hikmah and what is not.
Oh yeah.
The same happens with soul.
Yes. No, we'll talk about it. We'll see. Research process methodology has a very big section on hikmah. Because that, remember 151, verse 2 151. That's our first one we did. Remember? First one we did. And what does it say? Your prophet will teach you kitab and hikmah. So hikmah is a very big chapter in research methodology. In Arabic, there is another unique feature. Remember, the unique feature was it has intention that is static and dynamic. Another unique feature is it has root. Root is the driver. The difference between yamal and yafal. Yafal is part of universal order. Yamal is the driver, is our intention. Right? So it is amal is salaya, right? It's rooted in good intention. If your intention is not good, it's not amal that will count for you. It's a very unique feature. No other language has this ability. I use that. Remember I said I'll talk about Quran, I'll talk about Hadith, and I'll talk about my personal experience, because that's the only thing I can talk best. See, Quran, Hadith, Other thing I can talk about is me, not what Mr. Smith has said. I have experienced myself. So that's what being witness means. We found that, I discovered that when in 2017, and that became the driver of this book. It's a mental health book, volume 3 of the medical book. I have 4 medical books, this is number 3. It's entirely on mental health. There I discovered that Allah has 99 traits, right? Name, ism, right? Is in Islam, ism is natural trait. It's not a name, because who named Allah? It's not logical to think these are names, right? I have a name. My name might be somebody who can see, but I might be blind. So that name has no meaning. But my natural trait is the real ism. So Allah has given His 99 traits for us. And I discovered that when you appoint a Khalifa, right? Say you own a shop and you're a very good guy. Would you trust a bad guy to represent you? Say you're going for Hajj and you want somebody to replace, and you have a lot of clients and they love you, they trust you. You want somebody who is trustworthy. because you'll be away. So that's similar to what Allah has done. He's taken his hands off because he's going to test us. But who did he put in charge? Who is the Khalifa? It's the humans. It's everybody Khalifa. So it's normal that he has given us the immunity, the ability to his trait. So whatever trait Allah has, humans has minuscule of those. Allah has Rahman, we have Rahman. Everyone knows. You go by, in this book I have described all 99, and you find the same quality in children. Same quality. Sadly, Western society has taken that as a disease. Allah doesn't like change, isn't it true? Children don't like change. You change something, he freaks out. They say he has HDH. He has a disease. They start to give medicine from early on. Every quality that we have, West has tagged them as is disease. Yet, even the word insan, you know the true meaning of insan? Adorable, forgetful, right? Forgetful is a weakness. Allah said, we have created us with weakness, otherwise we would be perfect, right? There's no point. Forgetfulness, but that's not a bad forgetfulness. Say Adam forgot, but he ran quickly. It wasn't malicious. Isn't it true? Adam forgot. What is the sign of forgetfulness? Rather than vicious, sinister motive. Forgetful people say, well, I forgot. They don't try to justify. And that's the difference between Shaitan and Adam. Adam quickly said, I made a very big mistake, please forgive me. Children are like that, they forget. But they are also adorable. They are trustworthy. They are trusting. Allah calls himself Mu'min. Isn't it true? What is Mu'min? Trusting. The word Iman is trust. So we are born with 99 qualities, and they are all needed to represent Allah, because that's our job.
So one of the name is Al-Satar.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the trait of Allah.
Which one? In
Satar
English?
means to hide faults.
Yes, yes. Those are natural traits.
Yeah, so how it is, how it can be observed in children. You know, whatever you do in front of people, they mimic you, that you did this.
You see, you are saying that they do that with sinister motive, right? Their motive is something bad. They hide, they expose, right? You're saying that children expose.
Yeah, they expose, exactly.
Yeah, but do you know they hide or not?
I don't think so.
Lot of things they hide.
I think they never hide.
No, that's not correct. Children hide a lot of things that they overlook. But one thing they do not have the ability to discern that this is what I have to hide. See the natural quality? They do not. If the mother doesn't have her hair brushed nicely, if mother is not wearing hijab, he doesn't care at that age. He doesn't ever say, Mom, you don't look good because you did not brush your hair. Those are not important issues. If he knows in early age, for instance, in case of my son, once he starts to, even as a child, he said, Mom, why don't you wear hijab? as a child. His intention is not to, he's not thinking that I'm questioning my mom is a bad person. He wants to save him, save her. So why don't you wear hijab? And she said, because it kind of makes you more open to, it attracts more attention. You see, in the West, nobody wears hijab, and now a lot of people do. But if you are wearing hijab, then people will look. It's an explanation, right? It's not a nice explanation. Then he said, but your Facebook has your picture. You see, so he's not hiding. He's exposing. But why? Because she loves him. He loves her. It was the same with my nephew. My sister was not wearing hijab, and she said, Mom, why don't you? He's crying one day. So what happened? So, Mom, you're not going to hell. How old is he? 8-year-old. He still is not adult. He's not hit puberty, but he's crying because he's worried about her. So you have to see this. Their motive is not to vilify or get them in trouble, but to protect naturally. So you have to have all kind of things, but in general, we have little bit of every good quality, including anger, right? Allah is very angry when we do maghzub, right? He learned us. He gave cursed. Can see children having that. So now we give a quick note on this intention. Intention is always in hiding. Intention is a driver of amal. Skill is not amal. Skill is the ability to do yafal, right? Do things. It becomes amal if it is connected with good intention. Sadly for us, we only observe skill. So, oh, mashallah, he's very talented. Why? Because he can memorize. He's very talented because he can solve problems. We're looking at his skill. Nobody can look at the intention. That's something we have to do research.